What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we have a really fun one. I had a ton of fun putting this one together. We're going to be talking about what is the strangest / greatest gimmick belts of all time. If you don't know what a gimmick belt is, it's a belt that is contested under specific rules, or specific wrestlers can only challenge for this, whether they be above like 400 pounds, under 30 years old. The belt can only be contested in Falls Count Anywhere, Exploding Deathmatch rules, or something like that. So there's a ton of these belts. It wasn't that hard to actually make this video, and I just had to do a bunch of research with a bunch of different companies, from companies in Mexico, Japan, to here in the US. So it was a lot of fun, and we're going to start this one off with probably the greatest gimmick belt in a lot of people's minds. It's produced some of the best moments in the Attitude Era. That is the WWE Hardcore Championship belt. This belt was contested under hardcore rules when it was first introduced by Vince McMahon, giving it to Mankind. Then Crash Holly ended up winning it, and he introduced the famous 24/7 rule that arguably made some of the funniest moments ever. You had Crash Holly, hiding in a ball pit from the Headbangers, I believe. Getting pinned when I was sleeping. That massive cluster at WrestleMania 2000 with that hardcore gauntlet, or whatever it was, where the ending got botched when Hardcore Holly busted Crash over the head with a candy jar. Absolutely beautiful. What was meant to be as a joke belt became one of the funniest things in WWE history. A lot of people seem to think that this was the same belt that Mr. Perfect destroyed on the set of, I believe it was like Saturday Night's Main Event. That's been debunked, so this must have been just a Winged Eagle that they had lying around that they busted up. WWE recently has tried to recapture some of the funny moments with the 24/7 Championship. This was introduced in like the summer of 2017, I believe, 2017, 2018. And it's arguably it had some really funny moments. This is pretty much R-Truth's belt. Him and Drake Maverick produced some of the funniest stuff ever when Drake Maverick was trying to win this title or keep this title. But definitely recently, it's just been so boring. They've put this on R-Truth way too much, in my opinion, and it's lost a lot of its I don't know what to say, fun factor, I guess. I mean, there's still some fun parts in it. I mean, the Goobly Gobbler won it, Survivor Series. Who else won it? The wrestler Raw 1000, not 1000, Raw whatever. They had a really fun with all the legends winning it, but this belt's just kind of boring. I wouldn't be surprised to see this slowly never show up again, or just slowly become inactive. So next up, we have a CML Micro Championship belt. Now, this is really hard to get pictures of. This is the CML World Micro Australis Championship belt. God, I hope I said that right. This championship was revealed on December 11th, 2019. It is the first Mexican-based championship solely for wrestlers with dwarfism. So I didn't know this at the time, but a lot of these Mexican companies have a whole division for short people or people with dwarfism. There's two different types of this championship. There's the Micro Championship, and there's another championship that is contested majority by micro wrestlers, and then they do have some other short wrestlers in the division, kind of like cruiserweights. Now, next up, we have the NWA. I believe this is the NWA. There was a lot of different versions of this. This is the Brass Knuckle Championship belt. So this belt was where brass knuckles were legal and encouraged, I guess you could say. It was pretty much a hardcore championship before the hardcore championship. Most of these matches were contested under no disqualification rules. It was for your brawlers, like Bruiser Brody, I think, held this belt, if I'm not mistaken. Stuff like that. Just absolute brawls, and that's how this belt was used. There was a ton of different ones. I think there was a tag team title, a bunch of different NWA versions of this belt. Pretty cool belt. I mean, it's trophy metal with two wrestlers on the side with brass knuckles. Brass knuckles were William Regal used them all the time. I love that. He'd hide them in his knee pads, and the ref would check him everywhere. They could never find it, and then what do you know, halfway through the match, he's hidden it somewhere he's never hit it before, and then knocks the person out and wins the match. Absolutely love that. I wish more wrestlers did that. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can do that in a wrestling game in the WWE 2K series now with an OMG moment where you pulled brass knuckles out. That's not used enough, and it's a perfect way for heels to get cheap heat. Loved it. So next up, we do have the TNA. God, I wrote this down so I have all the correct names for this, because this belt has been changed so many times. So this belt officially debuted as the TNA Legends Championship belt. Booker T decided when he would defend it, and then this belt then transitioned into the TNA Global Championship. Eric Young would then not defend it, or declare that he would not defend it on American soil against an American. His first defense was in Orlando, Florida. This belt then became the TNA TV title. It would then be defended on TV every week, before then becoming the TNA King of the Mountain Championship, where the winner of the King of the Mountain match would win this belt. And then it was eventually retired, and then the new belt on our list, that we'll move on to in a second, was introduced. Now, this belt is arguably the greatest mid-card title in my opinion. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. The design on this is beautiful. I love the red strap. I love everything about this. Some people might think this belt's a little busy. I mean, it's busy, but it's beautiful. I love this belt. And I would love to get a Classic Shields version, because it's the only way to actually get this. Somebody, I think a couple months ago, was actually selling the ring-used version of this and a TNA belt. I think it went for like $10K or something. This belt is absolutely gorgeous. So then we're introduced to the TNA Grand Championship, or the Impact Grand Championship. Now, fun fact, I'm pretty sure this championship belt design was originally going to be their new world title design, because you can order this belt from Wildcat, and instead of the Grand at the top, you actually have World. So it was probably going to be their world title at some point. But after the TNA Legends, TNA TV, King of the Mountain Championship, then became the TNA, or the Impact Grand Championship. This belt, the rules would be similar to how bouts were contested in Europe, where each match would consist of 3 timed rounds with a team of judges to determine the outcome based on points, if there is no winner via pinfall or submission within the time limits. This is something we're seeing introduced in WWE NXT UK with the NXT UK Heritage Cup. I do believe they're eventually going to be introducing a championship for that as well, but at this point they're just using the trophy. I actually like this belt. This belt's underrated in my opinion. Everyone hates it, but I don't hate it actually. I don't think it's that bad. Moving on to a similar belt to that, and that is the ROH Pure title. I wrote the rules down to this one too, because they're actually really in depth, and this is a really cool belt. This was reintroduced this time, like recently, I think like 2 months ago. This belt was awarded to the new champion on ROH when they resumed from the virus. These matches were contested under the Pure Wrestling rules. There were 3 Pure Wrestling rules. Each wrestler had 3 rope breaks to stop submission holds. After a wrestler exhausts his rope breaks, submission and pinfall attempts under the ropes are considered legal. There are no closed fist punches allowed in a pure match. Only open slaps or chops to the face are allowed. Punches to other parts of the body, save for low blows, are permitted. The first use of a closed fist would get a warning. The second would cause the wrestler to be penalized a rope break. If he was already out of rope breaks, he would be disqualified. And 3, a wrestler is subject to a 20 count by the referee if the wrestler goes to the floor. Unlike the other champions, the ROH Pure Championship could change hands on a disqualification or a count out. So really in-depth rules, but I think it's such a cool idea, and I'm so glad they reintroduced this belt, because that was something cool about ROH. ROH, you always had the code of honor where people had to shake hands, and if you didn't shake hands, you were a complete dick, and the crowd would boo the shit out of you. So I absolutely love this, and I love that the more wrestling companies are doing this. WWE is doing it now with NXT UK, and now ROH has brought this back, and it's so cool. Absolutely love this. Moving on, now we have the Progress Wrestling Proteus belt. This belt's so cool. I love the blue strap on it. The blue on this belt is absolutely gorgeous. I love the design in the middle, the textured gold. I believe personally Progress has some of the best wrestling belts in wrestling today. This belt is really cool. The champion is allowed to pick the rules for any upcoming match as long as it gets approved by the promotion. So that is so sick. So you can be champion and you can be like, well, I want you in a tables match tonight. Then you get challenged the next week. Well, this week I want you in a chairs match. Next week I want you in a Falls Count Anywhere. Such a cool idea. And you know the heels of this, whoever's the champion, could get such good heat by saying, oh, well, If you want to challenge me, then it's a one hand tied behind your back against me, and I get both hands, or it's only no DQ for me. Stuff like that. Such a cool concept. I love that. That is so cool. Moving on, we have a really older belt on this list, and this is an IWGP, or New Japan belt. This is the IWGP U30 Openweight Championship belt. It's pretty simple. You had to be under the age of 30 to win this belt, or to compete for this belt. If you're over the age of 30, or you're 30 when you're a champion, you have to vacate the title, and that's such a cool idea too. Pretty much it. I mean, that's pretty much all I can say about it. Tanahashi was the champion. He then gave it up when he was getting really close to 30, and I don't think the champion was ever won again. Moving on, we have the what is this? The Lucha Underground. Completely had a brain fart there. The Lucha Underground Gift of the Gods Championship belt. Now, this is my favorite gimmick belt of all time. Lucha Underground was so cool. Everything there, kayfabe, was completely real. Everything about it. If you had a dragon, a guy who had like a dragon mask, he was a dragon. If you died there, you died for real. It was so cool. So I wrote down the storyline for this. So the storyline owner of Lucha Underground revealed that he had gathered 7 ancient Aztec medallions during a tape segment. He explained that they represented the 7 tribes of the ancient Aztec world. Whoever held all 7 of them would be given a gift from the gods. He then later ordered 7 wrestlers to come to the ring. The winner of the 7-way match would win the first of 7 medallions. The seven medallions all slotted into a wrestling championship called the Gift of the Gods Championship, which would then grant the champion a match for the Lucha Underground World Championship at any time they wanted, provided they gave the owner a week's notice so he could promote the match. After you get the 7 little tablets, I guess you could say, you get cash in your championship. I completely brain farted there. And then you get a shot against the champion. After that match, the 7 medallions were scattered about different wrestlers, and then you could have to wrestle to try to gain them all. Such a cool concept. I mean, it didn't really make this belt prestigious, but I think if you had like 6 medallions and you're wrestling for your 7th, you lost a medallion. Such a cool idea. So let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite of these gimmick belts? Mine's definitely this belt. It's such a cool concept. I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.